Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to another edition of Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Radio. I'm Jeremy, and on the phone with me tonight I have Mothman Poirier and Tim, also known as King Gray.
What's up? Hey. Well,
Anyway, so Nick's going to talk a little bit about tonight's topic, an introduction, and then he's going to do some news.
yeah, tonight we are doing the infamous Skunk Ape, which is found down in the Everglades down in Florida. Should be an interesting topic tonight. I'll start off with the news. The first story I have comes from ParanormalDailyNews.com, and stories come right in the beginning. All right. From London, England. The portrayal of alien life on far-flung planets has been a favorite storyline for filmmakers down the years and is a perennial hit with audiences. Avatar has proved no different, with the film doing record business at the box office. In Avatar, humans visit an alien moon called Pandora. Scientists believe that habitable moons may be a scientific fact. Scientists all over the world are constantly gazing towards the sky, looking for life in distant reaches of the universe, and powerful telescopes like Hubble and NASA's recently launched Kepler telescope are casting light into new, previously undiscovered corners of the universe. Colin Stewart, an astronomer of the world-famous Greenwich Observatory in London, told CNN, "With cutting-edge technology now, we can start to look at the composition of the atmosphere of those planets. Telltale signs are oxygen and methane. If you find those two gases, you could..." Here's Johnny! With the latest technology, astronomers expect to transform our knowledge of the solar system, fully confirm once and for all the existence of alien life. Launched in 2009, Kepler's mission is already showing potential to detect Earth-sized objects. On Monday, NASA announced that Kepler telescope had discovered 5 exoplanets. Alien moons...
You said they found 5 more planets?
Exoplanets are, planets beyond the solar system. Lisa Kettlinger, an astronomer at Harvard, said that there is every chance a real-life Pandora already exists and just waiting to be discovered. Alien moons orbiting gas giants are more likely to be more habitable than tidally locked Earth-sized planets or super-Earths. Kettlinger said, "We should certainly keep them in mind as we work toward the ultimate goal of finding alien life," she also said. So, I don't know if anybody else has seen the movie Avatar, but just to make the long story short, they go off to this moon of a giant planet called Pandora, and there's some alien life forms on there. And this article is basically saying that it's definitely within the realm of possibility, if not probability, that a moon like Pandora does in fact exist in reality. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
That's pretty cool. Well, I guess it's not ever out of the question because they still always discover new planets and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, what do you call it? This particular article was dealing with moons of planets, and Tim,
it's a scientific fact that women like round, muscular butts.
If Tim brought up in an earlier show that we had about alien life on potential life on moons of even our solar system. And there was a couple of moons, I think it was Titan, had the special type of atmosphere or chemicals for life.
Okay, it was the moon of Titan and I'm trying to remember the other one. Can't think right now.
Europa.
And Europa.
Europa and Titan. So if that exists in our solar system, that would be amazing.
What exactly is going on with that Europa expedition thingy that we had featured on our show a little while ago? Well, I was on NASA their website the other day, and as far as I know, they're still planning it for 2015.
Well, we can move on to the next topic, which kind of gives a little bit more information about those 5 planets mentioned in the other article. The list of known exoplanets in the galaxy just got bigger thanks to the first observations from NASA's new Kepler Space Telescope, which found 5 new lightweight worlds orbiting distant stars.
I think you did this one just now, Nick.
No, this is a different one. I would like to announce today the discovery of 5 exoplanets by Kepler, said Kepler Science Director William Barucki of NASA's Ames Research Center, here today at the 215th meeting of the American Astronomical Society. The planet-hunting Kepler, which hopes to discover alien Earths, also found an odd object orbiting a star and is measuring the quakes that ripple across the stellar surface. The 5 newfound planets are all much larger than the Earth-sized bodies Kepler was designed to find, with one coming in around the size of Neptune and the other 4 measuring larger than Jupiter. All 5 planets orbit very close to their stars, with orbital periods of around 3 to 4 days, and so are very hot. Their temperatures are above those of molten lava, and even iron would melt on their surfaces. That's just a little more information to kind of explain about those 5 planets that were discovered by the Kepler telescope. 4 out of the 5 planets were bigger than Jupiter. And Jupiter is the largest planet in our solar system. And I think to put that into perspective, I think it's like 100, or I think it's more than 100. I think it's like 1,000 Earths or something. It's huge compared to Earth. So I mean, these planets are big, but as the article said, the temperature of these planets is too hot for life. But some moons that orbit these planets definitely could have life on them. We just have to wait and see.
You know what? That makes me mad.
All right. Here's a article from Fox News. Environmentalists bemoan the clear-cutting of the Amazon rainforest, but an unexpected bonus has turned up. Beneath clear jungle, archaeologists are uncovering mysterious geometric designs carved into the earth. Difficult to see from the ground, geoglyphs often go unnoticed. Now, thanks to readily available satellite imaging, many are being uncovered. With the help of satellite imagery from Google Earth, Brazilian archaeologists are finding more and more of the earth carvings called geoglyphs in the Amazon rainforest. According to a story on environmental blog Tree Hugger, the geoglyphs are believed to have been sculpted by ancient people from the Amazon region around 700 years ago. Although their purpose is still unknown, so far, nearly 300 geoglyphs have been identified. But with advances in satellite imaging and increased clearing of the jungle coverage, scientists are hoping to discover many more of these strange geometric designs. Interesting, huh? More ancient designs in South America. Actually, it's kind of interesting. Earlier, me and King Sassy were talking about how everyone's getting flared up about the 2012 prophecies in the Mayans. that's definitely something interesting. We could probably just do a separate show about that. But South America always usually turns up some interesting findings in the Amazon jungle. There's the designs in the sand, are those in South America of the giant animals and
those are.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're in the Peruvian desert. Okay, I wasn't sure. But they have those. They have these designs. You have the temples and pyramids. I think didn't they find a crystal skull down there?
Actually, yeah, they did.
And also they have those mummified alien bodies down in those mine shafts. And that, again, we could do a separate show on that. But here's just another finding from South America, which adds on to the already pile of mysterious mysteries. It's another mystery out of the many in South America. But like I said, they don't know what they were for, but I'm looking at a picture of one, and it has a picture of a spider and some other interesting symbols. It says the Nazca spider geoglyph.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
How many more news stories do you have?
One or two.
All right, because we have 48 minutes. I was going to say we're going to get to the topic in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Here, we'll get to this last one right here. CNN, this is from CNN. A moon hole might be suitable for a colony. Building a home near a moon crater or a lunar sea may sound nice, but moon colonists might have a much better chance of survival if they just lived in a hole. That's the message sent by an international team of scientists who say they've discovered a protected lunar lava tube, a deep giant hole that might be well suited for a moon colony or a lunar base. The vertical hole in the volcanic Marius Hills region on the moon's near side is 213 feet wide and is estimated to be more than 260 feet deep, according to the findings published in Geophysical Research Letters. More important, the scientists say the hole is protected from the moon's harsh temperatures and meteorite strikes by a thin sheet of lava. That makes the tube a good candidate for further exploration or possible inhabitation, the article says. Well, a while back we were also talking about the colonization of the moon, and it's actually a very serious proposal right now that we may start sending people up to live on the moon. And establishing shelter in these holes seems like a safe idea, at least according to these scientists.
Well,
but
better than sitting out in the open and getting hit by meteorites.
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, if you're out there on the main surface, you're going to get hit by meteorites, solar flares, other types of or phenomenon that occurs in space. Yeah, horrible.
And Nick, don't let us forget, of course, the thing won't get you, Nick, either.
The thing. Well, we're done with the stories now, so we're going to go on to the main topic, which is the skunk ape. And,
all right.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, before we get to our main topic, we're going to go on a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we're going to get started on tonight's topic, which Nick introduces, the skunk ape. And you're listening to Bigfoot's Pad Paranormal Radio.
And take it from the Colonel, Kentucky Fried Chicken is finger-licking good.
man. I'll tell you what, that dang old internet, man, you just go on there and point and click, 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 click. It's real easy, man.
Anyways, we are back on Bigfoots Pad Paranormal Radio. And starting with tonight's topic, we're going to talk about the skunk ape. As Nick introduced earlier, the skunk ape is a Bigfoot-like creature that lives in primarily Florida, in that general area. The skunk ape is seen probably about the same as a normal Sasquatch. I'm going to let Nick start off with the sighting or two, and then we'll get started from there.
All right, yeah, I have a list of, actually a quite extensive list of sightings that are listed in chronological order. The first sightings occurred, the first sightings were by Native Americans, and they would tell of the skunk ape in their oral tales that they would sit around the fire and talk about. But the first sightings in which Europeans were involved were in the 1800s along the Georgia-Florida border in this area known as Man Mountain. And there's quite a write-up on that I also have. And then in 1920, in Putnam County, which is in Barden, Florida, Barden Booger, I guess was a singer, talked about and sung about into the 1980s. He roamed around the St. Johns River area. It was sighted all over Putnam County. Also, the Pigman was reported because of his snout. I guess, the Barden, maybe it's the Bogger. The Barden Bogger was talked about and sung about into the 1980s. All right, I'll correct myself on that. So there was more extensive sightings starting with the 20s and going up on until the present times. But anything you like to add to that, Jared?
Well, generally, I was just going to give a description of the skunk ape.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Well, the skunk ape generally, it's called the skunk ape because it has a general bad smell. Just like a normal Sasquatch, it's recorded to be a hairy, upright creature. And anyways, it's primarily in the swampy-looking areas, but it does occasionally come into the cities and things like that around there. And we've had experts and certain people like that have been on our show that have reported the skunk ape. And, sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. So anyways, the most famous pictures that were ever sent in were called the Mayaka apes. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of those. Have you, Nick?
Yes, I have. The Mayaka ape, I have seen those pictures, and also in front of me, I have the letter written to the Sarasota Sheriff Department, which talked about the sighting of this
Nick, can you talk about what the Mayaka ape is really quick? Like what the pictures are?
Oh, yeah. This man was basically, I think he was taking out his garbage one night or something, and he stumbled upon this creature that had been kind of messing with his garbage, and he decided to take a picture of it one night, and it resembles an orangutan. It's probably the closest comparison to a known animal. As far as my knowledge goes, there was never any orangutans reported missing from the zoo in that area. So, there's a bunch of possibilities with this, but it looks closest to an orangutan, but its eyes were like flashing red, and it seemed to be a little meaner looking than an orangutan, maybe a more aggressive. It looked very aggressive in these pictures that this gentleman took. It was baring its fangs and hiding in the bushes, so it was ready to do something if it had to. You think that's a
people were saying that
description?
some people are saying that they think that the pictures were photoshopped or that it was some sort of cardboard cutout, but I guess the experts proved that it wasn't the fake, because they said that the ape in the pictures, one of the pictures that has its mouth open compared to the other one. And they said that that's a sign of great apes out in the wild, that when they get threatened or when they get surprised, they show their teeth to try to make themselves look bigger than they really are. And also, you can see the pupils are dilated in the second picture compared to the first picture, which means that it's reacting to the flash. And
Yeah.
to most experts, it's either inconclusive or it's real. So,
well, I'm looking at the picture right now in front of me, and it looks pretty darn real to me. I mean, it's I've been taught, if it quacks like a duck and walks like a duck, it looks like a duck, it's a duck. And I mean, this thing looks like this thing looks like an ape. It's got hair, eyes, lips. I mean, you can see down to the fine detail on the fur of this animal and the way it's hunched. And I mean, unless it could be a midget in a monkey suit, like they purport the Patterson film to be.
I know.
The man in the monkey suit.
I know they're definitely real. You can tell the creature is real in the picture.
Yeah. I mean, I believe in the Patterson film, but this picture is more real looking than the Patterson film. A lot of it, due to the quality of the picture, is much better than the Patterson film. Obviously, because this picture was taken in, the 90s, I think, compared to the Patterson film in the 60s or 50s.
Patterson was 1960s.
Yeah, the 1960s. So, obviously, film technology has gotten a lot better since then. So, but this picture is very, very good evidence. And, of course, there'll always be skeptics, So, but this picture's made me a believer out of this phenomenon.
But another thing I would like to bring up is there's some people that have swamps near their backyard of their homes, and they actually track the swamp ape.
Yeah, the letter. I'm just reading through this letter very quickly. That the wife of the man who took the picture, I believe, sent it in, and she described this thing as an orangutan because, according to her, that's what she could associate it with, and she said it made some whop noises in quotation marks. It sounded like much farther away than it turned out to be. If I had known it was this close to the hedgerow as it was, I wouldn't have walked up so close as I did. I'm a senior citizen, and this animal had come out of the hedgerow after me, and there wasn't a thing I could do about it. Okay, again, I correct myself. This looks like it was written. This was written by the man who took the picture. I don't know, just says I prefer to remain anonymous. So I'm getting all my sources mixed up. But this was an anonymous letter sent in with these pictures and all. In short, it was just saying that they thought an orangutan had gotten loose and they were trying to report it to the proper authorities. But these pictures have stirred up a little bit more controversy than just some wild or some monkey that got loose from the zoo. So,
if the author, or not the author on the hike, if the photographer actually put their name and everything, I think that there'd actually be a lot more evidence of these creatures being around.
Yeah, I mean, this is from SkunkApeFiles.com. Again, this is the first time I've been on this website, so I don't know its trustworthiness. I mean, they seem pretty trustworthy. They had researcher profiles and a bunch of other things to show they're accredited, at least, in this area of what we're talking about. But Yeah, if the author and the taker of the pictures of the Skunk Ape did not wish to remain anonymous, there would be a lot more credibility to it.
Well, if there's anybody out there that would want to call in, the guest call-in number is 914-803-4053. But anyways, while we're talking about the Mayaka ape pictures, I just posted them on our chat room if anybody's interested in checking these out. We have a question on one of our chat rooms right now. They're asking us, what do you think would be the precautions of searching for the skunk ape compared to a normal Bigfoot?
Well, in the swamps, you have to worry about poisonous snakes and everything, you know. And you have to worry about alligators and all these other dangerous creatures that can kill you. Yeah, and it smells terrible.
Well, if I might be incorrect about this, but I think before when we've talked about skunk ape, somebody brought up that the skunk ape is actually known to probably be a little more aggressive than a normal Sasquatch. Well, apparently, from the Mayaka encounter, when I just read from this letter, the eyewitness said that the creature jumped out of the hedge at him. So this animal seems to be more aggressive than a regular Sasquatch, which prefers to run away and hide and prefers to be secretive. This one doesn't really mind to just come out of nowhere and even maybe attack somebody. So that would definitely be an item of concern.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, I don't know if you've heard of any violent reports of a skunk ape, but I actually heard one of a man. Well, I'll let Tim tell the story because Tim said he wanted to tell it.
Okay.
You're just saying have you ever heard of any violent cases of skunk ape? And I said, actually, yes, I have. In the 17 or 1800s. There was
throw down, boy.
Yeah. But there was this one creature in one of the southern states. It was the people went they gathered a posse together and were going to go find it and kill it. But while they were sleeping, it ended up raiding their camp and it killed 3 or 4 of the people. I remember seeing it on a Monster Quest. Because I guess I'm not sure if it was terrorizing the people or not, but the people gathered, the townsfolk gathered a posse together and they killed 3 or 4 of them.
Well, that's pretty scary stuff there.
Yeah, it is. The Bigfoots Pad Paranormal will get killed and they're looking for it.
Oh, well, I have one more story I could just elaborate on that. In 1950, in Pasco County, Newport Richey, Florida, a huge beast terrified a woman as she was hanging up clothes on a clothesline. It chased her until she managed to get in her house. The creature left shortly after that. Well, according to that sighting, it chased her into her house and then went away. So I think it's safe to say from just even these small bits of evidence that correlate together that this creature has violent tendencies.
Well, judging by some of these things that I'm getting in the chat room, people are asking, what do you think that the skunk ape eats compared to the normal Bigfoot?
Well, the first thing you would have to do is look at the environment that the skunk ape lives in. It's drastically different from the northwest region, which the traditional Bigfoot, at least when you talk about Bigfoot, lives in. The traditional Bigfoot, they say, lives off ferns and pretty much anything. I mean, I'd say that they're both omnivorous, most likely. But down in the Everglades, in the swampy area, you're going to have more fish, different plants that
there's something screwy around here.
And maybe even small animals. I mean, there's small animals in the Northwest as well, but the Everglades are have a bigger diversity than the Northwest does, just because it's warmer and has more water. So it's I don't know if this is the proper term, it's a more friendly climate for life to exist. So the skunk ape has a much more diverse diet, I suppose, than the northwestern Bigfoot.
Yeah, and there's like swamp rats and stuff you can also eat too.
Yeah, it's all speculation, but like I said, I assume it probably feeds off of a lot of vegetation, or maybe if you look at the aggressive nature of the skunk ape, maybe it's more of a predatory creature, and it goes after it hunts.
People said that they've seen it. They've seen it chase down hogs and things like that. I've seen on TV before.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
So yeah, it could be more of a hunter instead of a scavenger like the Northwest Bigfoot is, and that's probably because the climate, like I said, it's warmer, and there's more plentiful food available down there for the skunk ape to thrive off of.
Well, is there any difference in the vocalizations between the skunk ape and the regular Bigfoot that most people would hear?
Well, most recordings you hear of it, like they sound just pretty much similar to the regular Bigfoot. I wouldn't say there's any too remarkable or not too much of a difference. But because it's supposed to be the same creature, just living in different parts of the country, But everyone has a southern accent, Nick.
One of them that doesn't wear sunscreen.
Well, from the letter I read that described the encounter with the, am I pronouncing the macaca? I'm pronouncing that right?
Mayaka.
Mayaka encounter. The Mayaka encounter. He said it was making a whooping sound, and I think Northwest Bigfoot have been described making that sound. Am I right on that one?
Yes.
A whooping sound, like a whoop. I'm not a big. I can't make the sound myself, namely because it's 3 in the morning over here on the East Coast, and I'm staying in a hotel right now, so I don't know if I start making a loud whooping sound, what will happen. But yeah, the vocalizations, like King Gray said, are probably very, very similar, except for the southern accent.
Some of those vocalizations. I don't know. What do you think, Nick?
You said we should try to get some of them on air?
Yeah.
I could try. Like I said, my internet's kind of sketchy where I am right now, but I'll see. Oh, it's actually working for me now. It's amazing.
Well, like I said, kind of the major difference between skunk ape and Bigfoot, though, one's a Johnny Reb and one's Yankees. I understand.
Oh gosh. There's never a dull moment on the show, whether it's somebody saying something just totally out there or Jeremy going buck wild with sound effects. It's always interesting.
I say we stop them! Yeah! Then we tattoo them! Yeah! Then we hang them! Yeah! And then we go! Yeah!
Like that?
Yeah, like that.
No, I think the skunk ape is, from what it sounds a lot meaner in every single way. Like it has like a tougher life than the regular Bigfoot,
Yeah.
It has a lot more things to have to deal with, like dangerous creatures and terrain and everything.
Well, yeah. Well, that's another thing you have to take into account. It lives in a very hostile environment. Like I said, in the Northwest, the larger species of Sasquatch out there is more docile, and they like to be secretive. But like I said, they live in a colder place. I mean, they have to probably deal with an occasional bear or, you know, maybe I don't even think there's any wolves anymore in that part of the country. But for the most part, you know, they're not dealing with too much. You know, it's a very large land area, and like I said, probably just an occasional bear once in a while. But down in the Everglades, you know, you got alligators, snakes. I mean, even the black panther that lives down there. You know, there's so many things out there that could kill it or injure it that it needs to be on guard.
Exactly. Herb Jones, Nick?
Yeah, it has to be on guard for Herb Jones, too. Here, Travis. That's such an inside joke.
Every single report I've heard of the skunk ape is either, like, you know, people see it crossing the road hunting or something, or it's either, like, just being flat-out mean.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the two accounts I read, the creature chased the eyewitnesses. So,
yeah.
I mean, this thing's looking to start fights.
Exactly.
Shouldn't we go looking for it, guys?
Well, it's a report that I would like to bring up. It's the two bipedal animal seen in the aftermath of Hurricane Francis. Says, this morning we were awakened by the sound of tapping on what seemed like window of our bedroom. We have 3 pit bull dogs, and they were very aggressive when they heard the unusual noises, and they were terrified. My son went out to see what the noise was, and I followed him. I noticed an awful smell like something dead or nasty garbage. This human-like creature ran out in front of us and headed to the woods. I was so scared. I was scared, and so was my son. We were both frightened. We just stood there frozen. We have a lot of trees in our property, and this thing was as tall as our orange tree, which is about 8 feet tall. We woke everyone up, and everyone kept watching to see if it was coming back. And it says they live on the edge of the national forest. They said that the Hurricane Francis just went by, and they said there was downed trees and garbage everywhere. They said that they heard tapping on what was almost like wood knocking, is what they said. They said that the first animal they seen was at a distance of 40 yards away, and the second one they seen was 60 yards away. They were both brownish in color, and it was about 10 or 15 seconds.
That's pretty creepy if it's almost as tall as orange trees.
Yeah, that's definitely
that means
interesting.
That's 2 sightings, those the Mayaka ape and that one both are around orange trees, so they probably like oranges.
Yeah, there you go. That's probably another one of the giants.
Come inside and have a nice cup of tea.
Well, yeah, like I said earlier, just like the northwestern Bigfoot, and also, you know, just any other thing that lives in any other animal that's in the primate family is generally omnivore. You know, they eat anything. So it could eat, like I said, it could hunt. Like I said, it's been eyewitnessed to be chasing down wild hogs, and it also likes to hang around orange trees. So, you know, it
wild hogs, Nick, chases down motorcycles.
Yeah, it chases down motorcycles.
Wild hogs. Well, here's a good one, Nick. Daylight sighting near Big Cypress National Preserve. On the early morning of Labor Day, a few of my friends and I decided that we would drive across the state of Florida from Miami to Naples in hopes of surfing some of the swell that Hurricane Gustav was sending to Florida's Gulf Coast. At approximately 6 a.m., we left Florida National University traveling west on the to Miami Trail. The weather that day was relatively clear, but as I mentioned, we had a hurricane passing close to South Florida a few days earlier, so everything was still quite humid, and the winds were beginning to calm down about 15 knots to the west. It was near that area the Big Cypress was 15 minutes from the world's smallest post office, where the landscape had plenty of sawgrass in the shallow water and large trees at a distance of a mile. At a distance of about a mile off the road, we saw a figure that seemed to be watching the road as we drove past. The creature was definitely not a person. I know that it was not a person because we had only seen about 5 cars in the entire length of the day. Whatever it was, it appeared to be large, the size of a person. It was very dark with a wide body structure. and it looked to be covered in hair. The creature was standing next to a palmetto, which we passed quite quickly about 10 seconds after we passed it. It came to my attention that we should probably turn the car around to see if we could get a better look. Anyways, they came back and they said that they see nothing, but they smelled a horrible smell that smelled like a wet dog. So what do you think of that one?
That's pretty interesting in that, so, you know, those details go along with the other eyewitness accounts of the skunk ape, especially the smell.
Mm-hmm. Well, we also have a couple questions. People were wondering if there's a difference between sightings on the eastern and western parts of Florida, if they're different in some kind of nature.
Well, eastern and western Florida, I believe that, well, you know, 2/3 of the state is like forest, and then the other part's like this complete, we call it, just like marsh. Well, I was gonna say there you go, marsh or more like beach, you know. So for the most part, the whole state is pretty much like the same terrain, as far as I know, because I don't live over there. But
yeah, but they were saying, do you think that there's a difference in the way the creature is described?
I'm not sure.
Well, I guess, again, this is just all speculation, but I'm just going to try to, I'm just going to use common sense. There could be, you know, slight variations in the descriptions and the characteristics of the creature in different geographical areas. You know, there could be a variety of things such as gender, age, what they eat, the temperature. I mean, there's a lot of factors that can just shape the way something grows and develops. Now, I'll use just one example quickly to, you know, for instance, look at humans. People that live around the equator are dark-skinned because they are in the, you know, their people have been in the sun for thousands of years. And as you go farther north, you get more pale-skinned human beings because there's less sunlight. So, sure, there definitely probably should be different, just small variations in the physical characteristics of sightings.
Well, I'm looking at a map right now. It looks like most of the skunk ape sightings are around major giant lakes.
Probably the best source for fresh water, you know.
Well, yeah. It's every, especially an animal of that size would need water, and that's a lot. That's one thing that is very plentiful in Florida is water. I mean, the state's practically sinking on its own weight, I think, isn't it? I'm looking right now for calls, and I can't find any recordings of the skunk ape, curiously.
Well, I did find something interesting. On a website, it says that about a month ago, a neighbor lost 8 goats, and another neighbor had lost another one. A friend's cat was killed, and all found was all mangled up. The thing is not afraid of fire or of humans. He said it got really close to their house, and he said you hear lots of shotguns going off between midnight and 4 a.m. every night. Nick, which means people are shooting at it, but for some reason it's not afraid of people.
Well, yeah, that's definitely, that's scary if people are getting guns and shooting at it and they're not,
well, people are asking
scared.
if there could be a guy in a suit before in the chat room. But another thing that I don't get is people shoot at these creatures. If you're running around in a costume, you're putting your life in your own hands.
In the middle of the bogs.
And the trip Brent up in a Bigfoot, you can run around the bogs and hope he doesn't get killed.
I was just scanning through through Google, and I found a link between the skunk ape and another legend that we're quite familiar with. I found a link between the skunk ape and the Fouke monster. I guess the the skunk ape and the Falk monster are called one and the same, or they're thought to be one and the same creature. So,
I definitely believe it.
You know, well, I guess we could go into the Falk monster just really quick. Wasn't the Falk monster aggressive?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so, you know, especially Charlie Walraven's account on the DVD, he says it just jumped across the road.
I desperately want to make love to a schoolboy.
It just ran across the road, and it, you know, the moon was out, and they couldn't avoid the urge to prowl, so,
Exactly.
you know.
Well, and there was because I know it's the Falk monster and Willie Smith's Beanfield, remember? That's where they first seen the footprints of it, Nick?
Yeah, I know.
There's a question for you in the chat. Somebody was asking, do great apes emit different scents, and why, if they do? Like, do different Bigfoots give out different scents? Or if you want to talk about the pheromone chips that people use on TV shows to try to attract them and all that?
Well, to my knowledge, I don't really know that great deal about primates. I have some knowledge, but well, different species of animals probably do emit different scents. Now, when people encounter the Northwest Bigfoot or Bigfoot that have been spotted on the East Coast, there always seems to be somebody talking about a very bad smell coming from the animal. So it's not unique just to the skunk ape, but you know, the name skunk ape might imply something about the creature, that maybe its smell is a little worse than the rest.
Well, do you believe that those pheromone chips work, Nick? The ones that they hang up in the trees to try to attract the Sasquatch using gorilla scent?
Yeah, they could work. I mean,
yeah, again, we're kind of asking about speculation, but
yeah, I've never.
It's all like if maybe if it's scent from humans and another primates, you know, maybe it's not the same kind of scent that Bigfoot may get off.
So, Nick.
Well, yeah.
Do you think that if you hung up one of those scenting pheromones of the opposite sex or the same sex inside of, say you hung up a male pheromone inside a male territory, don't you think that would cause some controversy?
Yeah. Well, there's two things that, well, it's probably not just two things, but I think there's two things that you could definitely say. Either you're going to get a reaction from the creature, or you're not going to get a reaction. And I'll just, you know, you could get a reaction from a pheromone attracting the skunk ape, which would be looking to mate. But also, maybe it would not. I think this would probably be the more likely scenario. If you place a gorilla pheromone to attract something that is not a gorilla, I don't think it's going to attract that creature because it's going to smell strange. They're not going to know what it means. If anything, they might even be afraid of it. Or if they do go to it, they'll just pass it by because there'll be nothing there. You know, I was watching a show recently about a hybrid bear that a man shot in Alaska. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's extremely rare that a grizzly bear and a polar bear ever come together because they're, you know, natural enemies in the wild. So
what about a mule?
if you get a gorilla pheromone, I don't think it would attract the skunk ape. I mean, it could, but I think it would just be a strange smell that they wouldn't know what to do with.
You think
if
that
anything?
Well, I was watching a Skunk Ape show with Tim not too long ago, and these people were saying that they were urinating around their camp to try to draw the Sasquatch in. I personally think that would just draw it away. Or it would make it very angry, make it try to charge you if it came around there.
Well, if somebody Well, okay. Start off by looking at urination. When animals in the wild urinate on things, what are they doing? They are marking their territory. And with the skunk ape, its already aggressive nature, I bet would even be worse if you were trying to invade its territory. I think it's already very territorial. So if you're urinating on its territory, you're imposing that this is your place now, and you're trying to take it from the creature. So the creature then would most likely defend itself. It would feel threatened. I mean, that's just my theory.
Well, we have another question in the chat room. I don't know the answer to this question, but somebody says that, do you think that great apes don't sweat?
I personally think that, I don't know, here, I can...
Pull. I'm doing all the pulling, you blouse-wearing poodle walker.
And yes, I just picked up a quick answer for you, and primates such as humans, apes, and monkeys have sweat glands. So, yeah, great apes can sweat. There's a nice, simple yes or no question, finally.
Well, Nick.
Yeah.
We also have another quick question really quick. Do you think that... Do you think that the skunk ape is more elusive than the regular Bigfoot?
Well, no. And because it's aggressive. It's been shown to be more aggressive in eyewitness accounts, and I don't think it has the same timid nature of the northwestern Bigfoot and Bigfoot in other parts of the world that tries to hide from humans. This one jumps out at people, and they even got a picture in the Mayaka account. So, this is not it's, you're not going to stumble upon it every day, but, this isn't, when you're, talking about the world of cryptids and Sasquatch, you're dealing with one of the more aggressive species.
Nick.
Yeah.
Well, we also have a question coming in, and they're asking us right now, do you think that if great apes don't sweat, that it could be because they don't have aquatic ancestry?
Well, first I pulled up an educational source, not just that mammals, including great apes, do sweat. And
hello, I'm Mr. Webb.
And the whole aquatic ancestry thing, I don't know if that has anything to do with sweating or not, because only mammals can sweat. I don't know if, I don't even know if whales might be able to sweat. I don't know. I'm not a marine biologist, but apes can sweat.
Well, right now, we're going to end the show with a little bit of team news. One second. Would you like to start off, Nick?
Yeah, sure. Well, even though it's kind of early, we're already beginning to plan on for Paratour next summer. This will be the third year. The third year. Okay, I had mild amnesia for a second, but the third Paratour, and we're looking at doing a variety of locations. We're gonna go back to our secret location where the team had a Sasquatch encounter themselves. Unfortunately, I wasn't there and I wasn't able to be part of it, but I'll be heading out there this time.
I'm a bad boy. A very...
That might be a world record. He actually went 5 minutes without doing a sound effect. But,
well, another thing I would
yeah.
like to say is the team is actually investing into a thermal camera. There's a couple of models that we're looking at. There's a special model that we're talking over with Nick. It comes with like a special base and all that. Remember, Nick?
Yeah, there's one, I was looking at them a little bit myself briefly. There's one that looks like a giant news camera, and then there's one that looks like a arcade machine, an 80s video arcade game, and then there's even a remote control spy type airplane. I don't even know if that's legal, but yeah, there's a variety of thermal imaging cameras that are available, and it'll definitely be interesting to see which one we are able to get.
Well, we have 3 minutes left in the show. I'll let you say your goodbye, Nick. We'll be having another show probably either Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, you know, today we kind of planned this one last minute, and we're trying to get back on a regular schedule, but with school coming back up for myself and you know, jobs and everything, it's tough to hold a consistent schedule. But I'm Mothman Poirier 1.0, and I'd like to say good night and goodbye.
And thanks for listening, everybody.
Up from the depths, 30 stories high, breathe fire, and in the sky, Godzilla, and Godzooky.
Get your paws off me, you dirty ape!
He can talk. 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 He can talk.
I can sing!
Ooh, help me, Dr. Zayas.
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Oh, Dr. Zayas.
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. What's wrong with me?
I think you're crazy.
Want a second opinion?
You're also lazy.
Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas, Dr. Zayas.